Howdy, 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 my name's Anachi Sasuke, and welcome back to Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. I just want to say that when it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you're trying to get back to sleep, and you think about the Crooked Man, it's difficult to get back to sleep. Anyway, in this episode we're going to be doing Funnel Factor 12, The Plane That Never Was, Magna Carp, Internet Savvy Predator, and Blood? We might also do 5 more things, depends on how I feel. So, better not be Keter. Okay, it's safe. For some reason I was expecting a tunnel. Like, I saw the word funnel, but was completely expecting a tunnel. I don't know what I thought the Factor 12 was going to be, but 786 is not autonomous, and its peculiar properties appear to be both safe and predictable. It is to be kept in a secure storage room at Site-19 with standard surveillance precautions in place. However, it is important that the storage room be kept secure against vermin of any sort. The room must be sealed to prevent entry by insects, rodents, and other small creatures, and fumigated on a bi-monthly basis. That sounds ominous. Description: 786 is a large funnel composed of high-density blank polymer. Its appearance matches a conventional kitchen funnel, and the symbols 8 ounces are embossed on the outside just under the rim of the large end, but the funnel has an internal diameter of 1.14 meters across its wide end and 9.5 centimeters across its narrow end. Its internal volume is 408.8 liters, which is approximately 1,730 times larger than its professed 8-ounce capacity, or a factor of 12 cubed. That's not a factor 12, that's funnel factor 12 cubed. A simple visual inspection of 786 interior immediately suggests its unusual properties. When viewed from either end of the funnel, the interior of 786 appears to be perfectly cylindrical, with the far end of the funnel having exactly the same diameter as the near end, whether that end be the large one or the smaller one. So it's a telescope. Any object that passes through 786 will have its physical dimensions changed by a factor of 12, either increasing or decreasing depending on which direction the object passes through of the funnel. How would it even go through the... Well, I mean, okay, yeah. Oh! Okay, that's... Oh! I understand now. Any object that passes through... Blah, 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 blah. This change is permanent unless the object comes back through the funnel in the opposite direction. It is theorized that space has somehow become pinched through the throat of this item, causing items to appear larger or smaller without actually changing their effective size. This allows living organisms that pass through 786 to survive without apparent harm in their reduced or enlarged state. This includes human test subjects who exhibit no adverse health effects and have no detectable degradation of mental capacity despite the significant reduction in brain size. The object itself appears to have been increased in size by a factor of 12, but it is not known how this occurred. There does not seem to be any way for the funnel to pass through itself. Do you really think that's going to matter when it does this? Due to the size constraints of the large and small ends, nothing larger than 1.14 meters in diameter can be reduced using 186, and nothing larger than 9.5 centimeters in diameter can be enlarged. It is not recommended that objects be passed through 786 in the same direction more than once, especially not living subjects, as this has resulted in redacted. 786 was discovered in the basement level of a parking structure that had been closed when the retail mall it served had gone out of business 4 months prior. A careful sweep of the structure uncovered the crushed remains of a Honda 1989 CB1 CB400F motorcycle that had been miniaturized to 1/12 its normal size. The motorcycle was traced to Mr. James Blank, who had last been seen 2 nights prior and could not be located. It is not known how Mr. Blank came into possession of 786, why he apparently chose to ride his motorcycle through it, or what ultimately became of him. 786 has previously caused an incident with data expunged cockroaches that must not be repeated. I don't even really need to suggest what that was, because it's probably obvious what that was. That we need to check out the plane that never was. Is it Keter? It's safe. I mean, if it never was. It sounds like something from Kingdom Hearts, the plane that never was. Woo 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 woo. 787 is currently contained... See, this should have been 747. That would have been funny. 787 is currently contained within Hangar 4 at Sector 28. Security cameras and sound recording equipment are to be stationed in the cockpit, passenger area, and baggage hold of 787 to record any anomalous events. In the event of any anomalous activity within 787, access to the interior is to be prohibited for a minimum of 72 hours. Yeah, see, it's a Boeing 747. Why didn't they make this be SCP-747? Was 747 even a plane? It was children and dolls. Y'all, you had one job. You had one job. It is a Boeing 747-200 airliner of unknown manufacturing date and call sign. The exterior of 787 has been painted over, including all passenger windows. Kind of looks like a JJ the Jet plane when it's like that. Paint was wet upon recovery, drying soon after. The mechanical components of 787 are all undamaged and functional, and show no signs of use. Non-mechanical components, including carpeting, upholstery, and luggage, are all in an advanced state of decay. The pilot and co-pilot seats have been removed, replaced with two piles of computer components arranged in the shape of chairs. 787 initially manifested on June blank 1987 at a field located approximately blank kilometers from Bremerton, Washington. It contains the bodies of 515 deceased individuals, henceforth referred to as A. The cause of death varies among specimens, with causes including strangulation, exsanguination, drowning, starvation, bullet wounds, stab wounds, and blunt force trauma. Certain mutilations are common throughout A specimens regardless of cause of death, including removal of the tongue 23 times, scalping 73, carving of Cyrillic letters into the left palm 230, no pattern found, and removable fingertips 498. All A specimens are in advanced stages of decay but have shown no signs of future putrefaction. What does Cyrillic mean? Google, answer this for me. Denoting the alphabet used by many Slavic peoples, chiefly those with a historical allegiance to the Orthodox Church, ultimately derived from Greek uncials. It is now used for Russian, Bulgarian, Serbian, Ukrainian, and some other Slavic languages. Here's what it looks like. Wow. Okay, cool. We've learned something today. Visual apparitions or unexplained noises will spontaneously manifest within 787. Yeah. These incidents have not occurred when it is occupied. Attempts to enter after these events will result in violent physical expulsion from 787 by an unknown force accompanied by severe organ damage and internal bleeding. This period of secondary effect varies, but has not lasted for longer than 72 hours. Obviously, the plane is a stand user. Recorded anomalous activity within 787 includes in 1988, the sound of pounding against the doors and windows on the left side, lasting 7 minutes and 15 seconds. The interior cameras picked up no movement during this period. In 1990, a male voice was heard in forward men's wash closet, repeating the phrase, "Philosophers always run from the advanced thickening treatment," 5 times. I'm not going to say it 5 times because I feel like I might summon something. In 1993, the in-flight movie activates displaying a repeating series of 7 black and white still images of a deceased male human, accompanied by a female voice reading a gynecology manual in Czech. Lasts for 43 minutes. Is it Czech or Czech? I'm not sure. I'm sorry if there's anyone that is that who's watching this and is mad at me for saying it wrong. And another point in 1993, fasten seatbelt sign flickered on and off for 3 hours and 41 minutes, accompanied by a repeating loop of the first 15 seconds of White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane, played over the speaker system. This is the longest recorded anomalous event within 787. I kind of want to see what that song is. I also don't feel like having YouTube get mad at me for it. But at the same time, fuck it! Let's find out what that sounds like. Oh, this song. As soon as I saw the lady's face, I knew what song it was, but we're already here. Courtesy of Stew. Also, it's age restricted. It's probably age restricted because it sounds like it's about LSD. So let's just move on. For all I know, all of the SCP videos have been age restricted. I didn't age restrict them, but who knows what YouTube does when I'm not paying attention. Like, take away my ad revenue. Anyway, let's see. So that was White Rabbit. 1997, indistinct humanoid figure manifests in aisle next to seat H43 and removes the emergency air supply. Figure places breathing mask on and stands still for 2 minutes and 15 seconds before removing the mask and walking out of frame. The figure does not appear on any other cameras. I also just realized that I don't actually have to put the audio for the song in the video. So, maybe I'll just put a link in the description so y'all can go listen to it. That makes more sense. So removing the mask, the figure does not appear on any cameras. In 2001, so that's like 4 years of nothing, or is this just, I guess that was just 4 years of nothing. Manifestation of an indistinct humanoid figure approximately 1 meter in height. The figure sits in the co-pilot's chair, made of machines, for 3 minutes and 50 seconds, making soft whimpering noises, before vomiting onto the control console and exiting the cockpit. Examination of the vomit revealed traces of nitrous oxide, thorium, bird droppings, and 3 human fingernails. Ugh. In 2005, a female voice is heard throughout 787 saying, "For your comfort and enjoyment, today pancakes will now be served. Please do not leave your seat. Pancakes will now be served. Please do not leave your seat. Do not leave your seat. Leave your seat. Please. Pancakes will now be served." Yay! Pancakes! I probably should have done the Rocky voice for that, but I wasn't prepared for the Rocky voice. In 2007, emergency air supplies deployed and retracted repeatedly for 14 minutes 15 seconds, accompanied by screaming from a group of 10 to 20 people. The pitch of the screaming shifted depending on current position of breathing masks. In 2008, internal temperature shifted from 20 degrees Celsius to negative 13 degrees Celsius over the space of 19 seconds, remaining at this temperature for 10 minutes and 29 seconds before resuming average temperature. Okay. Addendum. In 2007, the identity of A112 has been determined to be that of blank blank, a retired optometrist currently living in Atlanta, Georgia. The subject was interviewed by Foundation agents on December 14th and was found to have no knowledge or memory of any anomalous incidents taking place in June of 1987. In addition, Mr. Blank claimed to have never ridden in an airplane in his life, a claim verified by his wife and son. Attempts to identify other passengers are currently underway. Addendum 2. Examination of 787's waste storage tank revealed an additional specimen of A, designated 516, being an Indian male approximately 30 years of age. Subject was in possession of the following: a 3-piece tailored suit, a surgical mask and rubber gloves, an unloaded Beretta DT-10 shotgun, I know Beretta made shotguns, a box of Tic Tac brand mints containing 14 cinnamon flavor, a switchblade, the handle was carved into the appearance of a nude woman, that sounds like a pretty cool switchblade, an Eye of Horus amulet constructed of recycled aluminum and twine, that's ominous. The flight log, coordinates that were logged 5,478 times. The ticket stub for Return of the Jedi, the number 92, is written on the back in permanent marker. 516 does not display a similar state of decay as the rest of the specimens. Cause of death is unknown. And in June of 2013, the flight data recorder has been recovered from a compartment underneath the floor of seat A13. The device was wrapped in butcher tape with the compartment filled with asbestos and dried human blood. Flight data recorder contained nothing but the phrase, "to be sorry." Let's see what those coordinates are. Is that just the middle of the ocean? That seems to just be the middle of the ocean. Google Maps, what am I looking at? The South Pacific Ocean. Let's zoom out a little. If I can. Zoom. Zoom. Expand. Expand. I can't tell if it's actually going anywhere. Yeah, it's up, up, up. I found things. That is really, really the middle of the ocean. Wow. Wow. There's just nothing. Okay, we learned more things. Those coordinates are just smack in the middle of the Pacific Ocean with nothing. Let's see what the Magnacarp is. It's Euclid and looks freaky. 788 is contained at site blank in a high-temperature ceramic lined chamber 25 meters in diameter, filled with molten lead, kept at a temperature of 900 degrees centigrade, which is Celsius. If 788 becomes active or attempts to break containment, its containment chamber is to be cooled until it ceases movement. It is to be fed 500-gram pellets of iron and magnesium on a daily basis. How many? Description. 788 is a creature resembling an African carp. Labio cubi. Let's see what that looks like. It's entirely possible that doing all of this Googling within videos is what's been killing my computer and not my microphone. It's kind of cute, actually. but it looks creepy as fuck here. It is currently at, oh, I missed some words, approximately 3.2 meters in length, which, as we've determined yesterday, is like 9 feet, and composed entirely of ultramafic magma with a skin of cracked picritic basalt. I am bad at saying the science. I apologize for being bad at speaking of the science. I am not the scientist. I am just a man who reads. It is currently estimated to have a core temperature of approximately 1475 degrees Celsius, though its skin temperature is typically much lower. Is it much lower enough that, like, you'll touch it and live? Or is it much lower in that it's still, like, 900 degrees and if you come anywhere near it, you'll cease to be? You know, things that need answers. Samples obtained from 788 have shown no differentiation or internal structure. 788 has been observed with simple behavior identical to that of a typical water-dwelling fish. It does not exhibit unusual strength for a creature of its size, though its sheer size and mass can result in damage to its containment cell if it becomes agitated. It consumes several types of ore and minerals, with a preference for iron and magnesium, though it has not been observed excreting any material. It's probably just melting inside of its body and making it longer or something. Since its containment, it has grown approximately 22 centimeters in length. Yeah. It was discovered following the 19-something eruption of Redacted. It is currently theorized that multiple instances of 788 may exist in the mantle layer of the Earth, and the eruption of Redacted may have brought it to the surface. Contingencies are currently in place if another instance of 788 is discovered by Foundation or civilian assets. I'm pretty sure that the civilians discover a 9-foot-long lava fish. There's not really anything they're going to be able to do about it. Incident 1. On Blankety Blank Blank, it became slow and apathetic for a period of approximately 24 days, during which its abdomen swelled considerably. At the end of this period, it produced over blank spherical objects, presumably eggs, with an average diameter of approximately 3 centimeters. Analysis shows that these are composed of the same type of magma as 788, and that all specimens have been separated into another containment cell and placed under observation. Alright. That brings us to the internet-savvy predator. So before we start reading this entry, is it a predator like To Catch a Predator with that guy from Nightline? Or is it a predator like, is there just like a jaguar that's really, really good at computers? Let's find out. All physical telephone and internet connections have been removed from 789. The property is to be examined weekly for the appearance of new connections. If any are found, they must be severed immediately. Wi-Fi dampening equipment is to be kept active on the property at all times. In addition, a security network over the surrounding 3 kilometers, or kilometries, is to be monitored for the arrival of potential civilian prey items. Class B amnestics are to be applied and individuals are to be returned to their homes. Once monthly, a disposable dude with a history of child abuse is to be released into the structure housing 789. Disposable dude previously scheduled tests tested with 204, 2672, and 3530 have been used historically for this purpose. Okay. Who are y'all? Is this the one where they have to perform the... Okay, no, this is a nanomachine colony. And I haven't gotten to those yet. Non-disposable dudes working with 789 are to be subjected to psychological screening. Unfit personnel are to be reassigned. 789 is an entity which resides within a well-kept, if apparently abandoned, 3-bedroom, 2-story house located on the outskirts of Redacted, North Dakota. Foundation databases contain no records of unrelated abnormal events in the area's history. No anomalous materials have been located in the house's construction. When the house is connected to an internet connection, it will manifest first as a working desktop computer with webcam, controlled by a pubescent child. The entity will spend several hours a day utilizing internet chat programs, contacting and interacting with adult civilians within the continental United States. It appears to target pedophiles, fabricating complex yet believable stories, utilizing video chat programs to lure and gain its contacts' trust. 789 seems to be able to keep track of detailed information for several dozen contacts at once, and has not yet been recorded using the incorrect form while interacting with a familiar contact. Over the course of several weeks, 789 will attempt to convince select contacts to come visit. Upon arrival, prey individuals are invited into the house by the humanoid component of 789. Usually the prey item is led into the kitchen or bedroom. Are they offered cookies? The entity appears to manifest basic furnishings for the rooms used in a given hunt. Once the prey item is made comfortable and sufficiently distracted by the humanoid component, non-humanoid components redacted, crushed into a fine slurry. It will soak the slurry into itself, then vanish. Upkeep of the property is apparently performed by 789 as well. The entity will manifest as one of two middle-aged adult humans, henceforth B. These two forms appear to serve as decoy parental property owners and will entertain guests if required to. Interaction with these manifestations has revealed no information as to the nature of 789. All conversation regarding behavior described above is met with polite silence. Upon assault, B will vanish and not appear again before the assailant. The appearance of these particular manifestations never change between encounters. The nature, intelligence level, and origin of 789 are unknown at this time. As 789 has an obvious capability to understand and utilize the English language, research regarding possible sapience is pending. However, it is not suspected at this time that 789 is or has ever been human in nature. Addendum 7891CV. It has been discovered that the forms 789 utilizes while seeking prey items correspond to those of children of the appropriate ages that it has encountered online. For this reason, testing has been suspended until a more easily controlled method is devised. So, I was like, is it like Nightline, or is it like Jaguar? Turns out, it's not so much that it's like Nightline where it just, take a seat, what, do you like the cookies? It's that the house goes, take a seat, do you like the cookies? No? Well, now you're going to be the cookies, and then it crushes them and then eats them and goes about its business. So, I'm just going to go ahead and call SCP-789 Nightline. Yup. Now it's time to read Blood. Blood is Euclid. Blood is to be kept under observation at all times and must be contained within an airtight cell, ideally with an airlock in place of a door. Also, given Blood's curiosity, the furniture must within the cell must be of materials that will not absorb liquid. The mattress, being the sole exception to this rule, is to be replaced once a week and incinerated as quickly as possible to avoid containment breaches. Personnel interacting with Blood should not attempt to make any sort of physical contact with its host's flesh or any of the discharged fluid unless wearing gloves or, in the case of emergency, a full hazmat suit. Blood needs to be fed only once a month, apparently to vary its diet from the bone and tissue already absorbed from blood. 1. Personnel that have become familiar with its needs estimate that 200 kilograms of raw meat is sufficient nourishment. Beef appears to be a favorite. However, since the ingestion process begins at data expunged, with one's mouth data expunged until data expunged and then data expunged, personnel are advised to leave the room before it begins eating. In the event that it does become aggressive, blood is best subdued and calmed by heat dispensed at a temperature of 37 degrees Celsius by the cell's air conditioning system. Blood is the animated blood of a human identified as Mr. Blank, hereafter known as 1. At present, it emanates almost constantly from one's pores, tear ducts, salivary glands, and several deep wounds and scars that cover at least 70% of his body. These wounds are believed to be produced by 790 itself over the course of several months. Thorough examination of the one's body has revealed that the blood systematically attacks the cells of his tissues and skeletal system, converting them into fresh blood cells, hence the constant flow of blood from his injuries. The infection is currently believed to be in its latter stages, as both the circulatory system and the digestive system have been consumed, along with significant portions of the skeleton. Despite being positively identified as human blood, blood's activities constantly suggest otherwise. Not only is it sapient, but exposure to air does not result in clotting and drying. Also, during several encounters with personnel, it has demonstrated intelligence and crude sentience. Numerous staff report being touched and inspected by minuscule tendrils emerging from the blood that often pools around the host's feet. However, blood does not appear interested in infecting other subjects, at least not at this time. Nonetheless, it will react violently should it ever be handled carelessly or harshly. Attacks on the host are responded to with lethal force. Meanwhile, one appears to interpret his affliction as divine providence, claiming to have been contacted by supernatural forces that insist he care for and nurture blood, or the blessed one as he calls it, until the day he dies. Whether this behavior can be attributed to the disintegration of one's brain, an unrelated psychological breakdown, or some form of communication between the two is impossible to determine. Addendum 1. Dr. Blank speculates that 790 is actually waiting until its present host is completely consumed before seeking out another in the form of one of the staff. As blood still merits research, it is recommended that another host be found among the disposable dues in the event that the present one dies. Dr. Spelter. Addendum blank 2009. One's left eyeball fell out this morning. A brief dissection showed that not only had the optic nerve been completely dissolved, but the eye itself was empty except for blood. We tried to take a sample, but the damn stuff animated too quickly, escaping the labs and rejoining Blood's main body before we could stop it. I honestly don't think one's going to live much longer. The only thing holding it together is his own blood, and that's because it's trying to eat him. Dr. Spelter. Okie dokie. So, the next 5 things are Water Orb, the Body Farm, the Ghost Sickness, Desert Shipwreck, and the Reality Bending Cat. And then there's also River Cat. So I could make this be an extra long episode, or I could make tomorrow's episode be an extra long episode just for the sake of it having several animals in it. I think I want to do that. So this has been Anashi Sasuke. This has been episode, I want to say, 166? Might be 167 of Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. If you liked it, a like to subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you need to do either one of those things. And I will see y'all in the next one. Later.